So welcome back to another video tutorial of Royce Academy. In this video tutorial I am going to discuss how the two different specific types of hormones, like the protein hormones and the steroid hormones, as we know that these two different classes of hormones specifically are playing its role in different physiological functioning, cellular communication and all. So particularly in this today's video tutorial I am going to focus that how the steroid hormones are specifically playing its role in the cellular communication from the extracellular space to the intracellular space. How are they communicating by itself in order to activate the cellular response? Okay. So in this video I am going to particularly focus at how the steroid hormones are playing its role. We know that there are many kind of steroid hormones are present. As for example, commonly we have the sex hormones or the androgens, the testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. Okay, the cortisol is there, androsterone is there, like dehydroepiandrosterone, dehydroepiandrostenedione or epiandrosterone. All these kind of androgens of the sex hormones and the corticoids or cortisols and cortisones which are secreted from the adrenal cortex. Okay, these are the glucocorticoids, sex corticoids, mineralocorticoids. These are specifically the steroid hormones, apart from the sex hormones. Okay, so how these steroid hormones or the fat-soluble, lipid-soluble hormones are playing its important communication, how they are playing its role in the communication purpose, cellular communication pathways. So let's put the heading as the cellular communication of the fat-soluble hormones. Cell signaling, let's write cell signaling of steroid. Steroid means lipid soluble hormones. Okay, and the hormones are like that of the androgens, like the sex hormones, and the corticosteroid hormones which are secreted from the adrenal cortex mainly. Now let me mention one thing. When these steroid hormones are being translocated from the to the target cell or the target organ from the hormone secreting gland, okay, they are being translocated in a very different way. Let this be an artery or a blood vessel. Okay, let this be an artery or a blood vessel or an arteriole, whatever it is. Let it be a blood vessel which helps in carrying the blood. Okay. Now, and let me draw another thing here. Let this be a cell. Let this be a cell. This is the cell membrane. The trilaminar structure of the cell membrane, the phospholipid bilayer, and let here be the nucleus. Let the nucleus be here. Okay, let this be a rough diagram of the nucleus. Okay, these are actually the nuclear pore. These things are the nuclear pore. The gap between the nuclear membrane. This is the nuclear membrane, along with the rough endoplasmic reticulum is being present, along with the ribosomes and all. I am not going into that detail because I need to focus on the major inclinations of my discussions of this discussion today. Now, so let this be the cell membrane, the phospholipid bilayer membrane or the trilaminar structure. The protein, lipid protein, protein layer is present, lipid layer is present, the phospholipid bilayer, and the another protein lipid layer is present. So that is called trilaminar. In the lamellar portion, the proteins, the lipids and the proteins are present. And this membrane, particularly if you look from a side view or a cross-sectional view, from the cross-sectional view or the lateral view, you can get the phospholipid bilayer, and within the lamellar structure of the phospholipid bilayer, you can have the protein, lipid, and the protein. That is, the phospholipid is surrounded by proteins, and then lipids, and then again the proteins. So protein, lipid, protein, these are arranged, or lipid, protein, lipid. Also in this way, the trilamellar structure is maintained. So whatever it is, that is not the major concern of our discussion now. Now, from the blood vessel, let me tell you one thing in this aspect. When a particular hormone is secreted from the stimulatory gland or the secreting gland, that hormone is being taken up directly via the veins. Why? Because veins helps in carrying the blood towards the heart, and from the heart, the aorta is carrying the blood to different other organs. It is projecting the blood to different other organs. So that is the only route how a successful translocation of any kind of chemical would happen if that chemical is pushed into or punched into our body externally, or if that chemical is secreted from within our body. Now, if suppose the arteries are carrying the blood and arteries are carrying the chemicals, so in that case, if this is an artery, why I told consider this as the artery in the first case when I was drawing this, because arteries are helping in translocating that particular hormone to this target cell. This cell is nothing but the target cell, okay. Target cell, and this one is nothing but the artery or blood vessel. Okay. Now, this artery would carry to the target. Now, if it is it was a vein, if it would be considered as a vein, in that case, what would happen? The vein would carry directly to the heart first, and then the heart would pump the blood, which would help in carrying the chemical, that important compound, to that particular target organ. So the reverse route is not possible. So this is the only correct route, and the optimized route. This is actually the active route of the sequestering any kind, or administering any kind of drug, or administering or channeling any kind of chemical. So this is the straight route actually, okay, the logical route. This is what actually the pertaining route is. Substantially, this is how any kind of biochemical is being carried to the target cell from the arteries or blood vessels directly to the target cell or the organ. Okay. Now, the receiving blood vessels which are receiving the that hormone particularly from the glands, the secreting glands or synthesizing glands, are the veins, because the veins would carry that to the heart, and after that only the heart would project that chemical to the different target or to the specific targeting cell where the cellular response is needed to be developed. Now, in these arteries, there are some specific type of carrier proteins. Okay, there are some proteins, specific types of proteins which are known as the carrier proteins. Okay, these are some of these carrier proteins which are flowing along with the blood vessels and other chemicals, the glucose and all, blood vessels and all, the amino acids and all via the blood. Okay, the fatty acids and all via the blood. This particular thing here is known as the carrier proteins. Common example of these carrier proteins are like albumin, ovalbumin. On the other hand, another compound is present which is called vitamin B7. Okay, so these are some of the carrier proteins or carrier molecules. Vitamin B7 is itself a vitamin. Okay, it's basically not a protein. It's a carrier molecule. It's a functional compound. All vitamins are essentially very important biological compounds, okay, or biochemicals, which acts as the cofactors or coenzymes. Now, these proteins, what they will do? These carrier proteins, they will help in carrying the. They will help in carrying that steroid hormone or the lipid soluble hormone. Okay. They will help in carry the lipid soluble hormone. Now, this lipid soluble hormone, let me draw the steroid hormones or the lipid soluble hormones in this manner. These are the steroid hormones or the lipid soluble hormones. Steroid hormones. Now what happens? Once the steroid hormone, lipid soluble hormone reaches the target cell, these steroid hormones are being popped out. These are being popped out into the towards the target cell via the extracellular space. This is the extracellular domain, ECM, extracellular matrix actually, and this part is the cytosol. Okay, and this is the nucleus. This one is the nucleus. Now what happens? There are certain channels within the membrane. There are certain channels which, after binding, after acquiring this steroid hormone here, these channels open up. This channel will open up, and the steroid hormone will directly filter into the what? Into the intracellular membrane or intracellular space. And now here, what happens? This steroid hormone, which is entering through this channel, which is helping in acquiring or accepting the steroid hormone, it will directly migrate through the nuclear pore within the nucleus. It will migrate up to here. And now when it has migrated up inside the nucleus is having certain receptor for this particular hormone. Okay. The nucleus is having certain receptors for this particular hormone. And now when the receptor is binding with the hormone, the receptor molecule is getting activated along with the hormone. That is, it is becoming functional. Now when the receptor molecule is getting activated with the hormone, this receptor molecule will travel towards what? Travel towards the genome, that is the DNA of the nucleus. Okay, it will travel towards the DNA of the nucleus, and when it travels to the DNA of the nucleus, there is another element. This particular thing here is known as the hormone receptor complex. And now this hormone receptor complex, once it reaches towards the genome, in the interface, specifically in the G1 phase of the interface, the synthesis of the proteins or synthesis of the mRNA, synthesis of the proteins, all these things actually happen. Okay, what I'll say, the transcription machinery, the protein translation. Okay, all these things are happening in the S1 phase, and in the replication is happening in the S phase, and in the G1 phase of the interphase, this synthesis of the proteins and all, mRNA and all is happening. So in that particular stage of the cell cycle, when this particular pathway is happening entirely, then this hormone response element will come and activate another molecule which is known as the hormone response binding element. This hormone receptor complex will come and bind with another molecule here. Let this be the hormone and let this be the receptor. Let this be the receptor, and the hormone response binding element or hormone response element, simply HRE, looks somewhat like this. And now what happens here, the hormone receptor complex which was activated previously, that hormone receptor complex would help in activating this particular HRE or hormone response element. This particular element is known as the HRE or hormone response element. Now this hormone response element, when it gets activated, what will it do? This activated hormone response element, it will do nothing but activate the transcription factor. Let this be the 5 prime and let this be the 3 prime. Let this be the 3 prime and the opposite end, let this be the 5 prime. Now the transcription factor or the promoter region of the transcription lies generally within the coding strand, that is 5 prime to 3 prime strand. So this strand particularly is 5 prime to 3 prime. Let me isolate this strand of the DNA and lift it upward. Okay, this is the 5 prime to 3 prime coding strand for the transcription, and 3 prime to 5 prime is the template strand. Now what happens here is, this activated hormone response element will help in binding with the activated hormone response element will help in binding with the transcription region, transcription factor present here. This thing is the hormone response element, HRE. Okay, and this thing present here is the transcription factor. Let this one be the transcription factor. Transcription factor, TF. Okay, or the promoter region which helps in the transcription, initiating the transcription. Okay, giving rise to transcription. Now, when the transcription factor is activated by the activated hormone response element, this entire thing is getting activated. The transcription factor gets activated. Okay, this transcription factor after that would help in activating what? Help in producing mRNA molecule. This transcription factor would give rise to the mRNA molecule or mRNA template. Let me draw the mRNA properly. It will help in giving rise to this mRNA particularly, which is 5 prime to 3 prime, and this mRNA will come out of the nucleus. Okay, 3 prime mRNA will come out of the nucleus, and this mRNA will subsequently give rise to the formation of proteins. Okay, this mRNA will subsequently give rise to the formation of proteins. Now these are the protein molecules. These are all the protein molecules which will help in doing what? Which will help in producing the cellular response. that is whatever the cellular response it might be, it will help in producing. So this is how the steroid hormones are translocated towards the target organ and they are producing this. Now another major thing is once after the proteins are being produced, in order to prevent the excess transcription or excess production of protein, this hormone response element will again bind loose. This hormone response element will again bind loose from the transcription factor. Okay. This hormone response element will again bind loose. It will not no more bind with this. It will no more bind with the transcription factor of the DNA. So once it is binding loose, this hormone response element once again when it is binding loose, then this hormone response element will help in acquiring another new hormone receptor complex. So this hormone receptor complex, now what happens? This particular hormone receptor complex, it also sets free itself and comes out of the nucleus through the nuclear pore into the cytoplasmic part. Within the cytoplasmic space, it would come out, and what will it do? It will help in triggering. It will help in triggering the activation of another hormone response element, another hormone receptor, or this entire hormone receptor complex will bind, receptor complex will loosen up or liberate the receptors and the hormone separately. The receptors, this is the hormone and its receptors separately. And this receptor molecule would again help in binding, and this receptor molecule would again help in binding with an additional incoming hormone, or this hormone will again help in binding with this particular activated with this particular lonely roaming receptor molecule within the cytoplasm, and again give rise to this hormone receptor complex. Again gives rise to, once it binds here, this would again give rise to the hormone receptor complex. And this hormone receptor complex is an activated hormone receptor complex, okay, which would again come inside the nucleus and bind with the hormone response element and carry out its function. So let's have a recap that how the entire process is happening. Okay. The topic of this, topic of this discussion is cell signaling of the steroid or lipid soluble hormones. In this case, what happens? We know that the arteries are the blood vessels which help in carrying the blood or projecting the blood along with translocation of different chemicals towards the target organs of a body, okay, or target cells. Now, there are some carrier proteins. These carrier proteins are like the albumin, ovalbumin, and on the other hand, a cofactor or a coenzyme, a functional compound known as the vitamin B7, helps in acting as a carrier protein, or biotin. Biotin helps in acting as a carrier protein. These carrier proteins helps in carrying that steroid hormones towards the target cell. Okay. Now, once it reaches the target cell, the steroid hormone loosens up or pops out from the carrier protein and binds with the channel of the phospholipid membrane, phospholipid bilayer membrane, plasma membrane. Now once this steroid hormone binds with this channel, it would help in opening the channel, widen open the channel and enter directly into the cytoplasm. Now when the hormone is entering directly into the cytoplasm, it would bind with what? It would bind with the hormone receptor, or the hormone would directly enter into the nucleus where the receptor already a receptor is present there, which would bind with the receptor there, and this entire receptor hormone complex would get activated. So this hormone, which is steroid hormone, which is entering into the cytoplasm, is entering here in the first initiation of the cycle, or the transduction cycle. It would directly enter within the nucleus, okay, and bind with the hormone receptor and help in activating it. Now the hormone receptor complex, or HRC, which gets activated, will bind with the hormone response element, HRE. This hormone response element will get activated, which would thereby bind with the transcription factor or the promoter region of the coding strand of the DNA present within the DNA is nothing but the genome or the chromatin fibers which are present within the nucleus in the G1 phase. Okay, it is scattered within the nucleus. Now in the coding strand, when the hormone response element is binding, in that case what will happen? It will activate the transcription factor and the promoter regions. Now once the transcription factor is activated by the hormone response element, the hormone response element in the subsequent stage would loosen up. It will be set free and it will again become as a lone hormone response element. And in the next step, what happens? This activated transcription factor helps in the formation of this 5' to 3' mRNA or mRNA transcript. Now this mRNA transcript comes out from the nucleus into the cytoplasm and helps in the formation of the protein via the translation. These proteins help in doing the carrying out the cellular response. Okay. And now after this cellular response is initiated, this hormone receptor complex loosens up from the hormone response element and comes out into the cytoplasm. It is being pushed out. It is a very heavier molecule, which is being pushed out by the nuclear medium. Okay, the nuclear medium which is present within the nucleus actually. The nucleic acids and all, the amino acids and all, the proteins, some specific types of proteins are there, the basic proteins, acidic proteins are there, whatever it is pushed up by the medium, the randomly arranged medium of the nucleus outside into the cytoplasm via the nuclear pore. And when it comes outside, two things happen. Again, the hormone receptor complex would loosen up into the hormone and the receptor, or the hormone receptor complex would directly activate another freshly present receptor in the cytoplasm. And when in the second route, when it is loosening up into the receptor and the hormone, this hormone would bind with the activated receptor, or this receptor would bind with the incoming hormone, and both of this binding would lead to the formation of this activated hormone receptor complex. And now this activated hormone receptor complex again travels back within the nucleus via the nuclear pore and recontinues the cycle via activating the hormone response element. So that's how the entire process is being continuing. The steroid hormone signaling is being continued within the nucleus, and this is how it is happening within the inside the cell. Okay. So hope you like this video. Then share the video as much as possible and subscribe my channel. Hit the thumbs up button and comment down in the comment section below. Thank you.